I know. It's the worst intro ever. Anyways, I also know that everybody has talked about this damn theory too many times to count, but we're gonna get into it. And you're gonna like it. Okay, anyways. Talking about this theory, we're gonna have to talk about it in sections. First, we're gonna go over Yazora as a character in general, and we're gonna go over his interaction with Sora. And I want to go over the fact of when he says this.
I accidentally wandered into this place, and went through some trials. Then, I was told to save Sora.
Huh? Then what's with the weapon?
Time to end this.
A couple of things to take into factor with Yazora and his character. His jacket actually has two keyblades that are that of the Kingdom Key. And not only just that, he also has the crown that Sora wears throughout the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series around his neck. And we also have the entire Seven Crowns thing, but I'm gonna digress that because it's too similar of just Sora's style and appearance of clearly having the Kingdom Key. And when I'm saying this, I just think that Nomura wouldn't draw over a brand new character, both the Kingdom Keys and including his crown. Two things that have been very minute within the series that are now of major importance are the Master of Master's eye on the no-name Keyblade, and then as well as Sora's crown resembling the new Seven Crowns, which is going to be the new Seven with going into Quadratum. But let's go back to what Yazora had said. He said that he was told to save Sora. This could mean three things honestly, and I will show them here. Option number one, Luxord told Yazora about Sora when he ended up turning back into a human, and he retained all the memories as a nobody. Option number two, Master of Masters has been in Quadratum for a very long time, and Yazora probably knows him and has talked to him, and he probably could work for him. The only other person would be Luxord that he knows, because we already know the other two, which could possibly be, quote, Magia and Aegis, which were the preset names for the two companions that Yazora traveled with. To also back this up, Yazora also would not know anything of the Keyblade and wouldn't have the designs of the Kingdom Key with on his shoulders or the crown if he didn't know Sora, because Luxord didn't know anything about the Keyblade prior to what we know. Option number three, the Nameless Star's name is actually Sora. And let me give you a refresher on this because I know this theory is probably one of the older ones out of the two that I just mentioned, but she goes on and she says that her name and everything else has been taken away from her. And Yazora does say, why are you using Sora's name within that same cutscene of when Sora and Yazora end up meeting. While all three options are very plausible, I don't think the third one is the case at all. I think it's either one of the other two. Either Yazora works for the Master of Masters, or he was told through Luxord. And I feel like it could be, honestly, the Master of Masters. And my reasoning of why I believe this is because Yazora has the Keyblades on his shoulder along with the crown, and not only that, is that he is in the final world. Whether that's via dreams or he is somehow dead, which I don't believe in, but he does wake up after the fight. And Sora does canonically win this fight and he wakes up, and this is why Luxord ends up saying, impressive is it not? So this could be conclusive of both of them tying in together and actually being one and the same of both theories working. But other than dreams and everything else working to go into the final world, the only other two ways is, like I had mentioned before, being dead or also using the Keyblade, because Riku and Kairi have also been to the final world, and Riku even uses access to gain into Quadratum with his Keyblade using the power of waking. Which is really funny because Riku even mentions that he had a dream seeing tall buildings and he uses the power of waking to get into Quadratum, and that could also mean that it's a sleeping world, which I hope is not the case because it would bring me back into dream drop distance, even though I love that game. Going on to the Master of Masters section, we need to go over something that he says inside of Union Cross, and that is when he talks about he has been fighting the darkness for a very, very long time, and not only that he's been fighting the darkness, he has also lost a lot of comrades that were very, very close to him, as he says here. The Master of Masters also states that he's pretty much already survived Kingdom Hearts before, and he's already been to the future, while Luxu has the memories, and his eye is pretty much just a waypoint for him to get to the future. And since he's already been there, well, you can conclude the fact that he kinda is in Sora's shoes with what I'll label out next, but I'm gonna let him explain so you guys could read all of that and get a refresher of what he talked about. And just like the Master of Masters had told Luxu he had lost pretty much all of his friends due to the darkness, he had lost Ven, Aqua, Lee, Kyrie, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, and yes, he even also lost Riku. And this is where the title comes from: Darkness will prevail and light shall expire. On another note, while that is a correlation, I do want to talk about something that a lot of people have not noticed or have talked about, either if it hasn't been talked about in a long time or hasn't been spoken about at all. I haven't seen anybody speak on this. But when the Master of Masters has this conversation of why he raised all the foretellers and why he's going to put the true darknesses inside of them, including himself, is because they all have a strong will, and he has taught them to be this way so they could be the leaders and guide the rest of the Keyblade wielders for the future moving forward. But what would you think about if I had said a darkness that was inside the Master of Masters had either escaped or he had let go willingly? Because there is one that we know about, and there is one that has been following us throughout the franchise and that Xehanort has been around. Yes, that's right. Vanitas. He does explain here in this conversation between Ven and Sora, when Sora sees his face for the very first time, why he looks the way that he does, and why he looks exactly like Sora. I don't believe this is true at all. I believe the fact that that true darkness was the one that was inside the Master of Masters, and he's the one that transferred over to Ven. And when Ven took the lifeboat to go into this time era, he ended up transferring into Sora because Sora went to go heal Ven's heart when it had shattered after the X-Blade in Birth by Sleep. Take it as if Vanitas was pulling a red herring moment. But over here, Master of Masters, when he speaks to Ira, he ends up explaining that he will vanish, dim, or fade away. And what happens to Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3 after Kingdom Hearts happens? Exactly, Sora in the final world. Also, it's really funny because the Master of Masters too in this cutscene, I know it's really short, but he sits exactly like Sora does in this image too. And last but not least, the one thing that I have left is this. When Gula comes in to talk to the Master of Masters, and he's going to tell Gula his role, and he's going to give him the lost page that nobody else has within the Book of Prophecies. While he is flipping through this book, you could actually see two things, and one of those is in this shot, is the Kingdom Key. And then in this shot, you could also see his crown. But what do you guys think? Did your opinion change after seeing this video? Or do you have an idea of your own? Or do you think it's just someone completely new and that it has nothing to do with any original character that we already know? But let me know down in the comments below. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I have been Final RPG, and I'll see you guys in the next video.